Well, g'day there, it's George again. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about my new teaching job, which starts in January. I'm going to be telling you about my new apartment. I'm actually at the rooftop terrace of my new apartment, and that's the kind of views I've got behind me. And thirdly, I'll be telling you the three main things that I'm grateful for after having now been in Cambodia for about 6 weeks. So yeah, enjoy the walk around my neighbourhood, and that's something that I'll be talking about in the video as well. And see you on the flip side. So we're not here to milk mosquitoes, let's get on with it. Check you on the other side. Ciao. Alrighty then, where were we? Well, probably the most significant thing that's happened in the first 5 weeks in terms of the long term is that I've actually secured a teaching position at a Khmer school where there's kids all the way from kindergarten all the way up to grade 11, so we're really big age group, which is fantastic. And yeah, I'm going to be starting there in January, and that's going to be pretty amazing, I think, just as an experience itself, but also as a way to really get immersed into the local community. So I'm looking forward to that absolutely greatly. I'll be teaching mathematics and geography, even though originally when I had thought about coming to Cambodia, I thought I could teach English primarily, but now I get to teach mathematics and geography in English to Khmer kids, which is absolutely amazing. So very much looking forward to that. So how did I actually get the job? Well, after about a week of being here in Siem Reap, I just brushed up my CV, made it simply into a one-page format and a cover letter, and I emailed it to 10 potential international schools, or at least schools offering education in English. And out of the 10, 3 responded. One responded with just thank you for sending your information, we'll keep that on file, blah, blah, blah. The second one was actually offering me a position, or at least an interview for a position, but every time they responded by email, they responded with my name wrong. So that didn't instill a lot of confidence, and eventually it led to a case of, well, they changed the appointment time or interview time. I couldn't make it, and I said, let's look for another one. And then they just wrote back with thank you, and that's the time they got my name right, but then I never heard from them again. So that was a weird one. But the final one was the most amazing. I was contacted by phone, message, and email to organise an interview as soon as possible. And this is the school where I'll be teaching starting January. Had an amazing interview with a French-Canadian teacher who's been there for many years. And the HR staff and school management were there as well. And ultimately, we actually ended up talking about more global issues of, how education is going around the world, the contrast between Finland and Cambodia, for example, and just generally the way that the world is changing, and talked about traveling and all of this, and also about the mission and vision of the school, and what they're really aiming to do is create a more aware new generation of young Cambodians who are internationally savvy and can help Cambodia's recovery from, obviously where it's been. And I've mentioned that in the previous videos. So, and interestingly, the vibe I got at the school was just absolutely amazing, with just the way that the students and the teachers and other staff interacted and together amongst each other. And also, when I got to meet the principal, I found out that he actually established the school himself with his own money, and didn't even, I think, take a wage for the first 3 years. And so this has been his own massive contribution to his own local community. So, and that was what I felt there. So what a win-win that one turned out to be. And if someone had said, 5 weeks ago in Finland, 6 weeks ago in Finland, that, after being there for just a little over a month, Got a dog barking there in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but anyway. So yeah, if someone had told me that, in about a little over a month's time, you're going to be in Siem Reap in Cambodia, you'll have your long-term visa, you'll, have your apartment, which I'll talk about next actually. I've got a new apartment now, so I'll tell you about that shortly. And on top of all of that, you'll have a job. It's just like, I would say, I'll take that. And that's exactly what's happened. So it's amazing to see this manifesting. So yeah, that's not until January, obviously, as I said. However, I'm already doing some pre-reading and things like that, brush up on my maths, which was always pretty good, and geography, which wasn't as good, but I'm sure I'll be able to figure that out. But it's actually interesting myself to go over those old subjects, which at the time, you're proficient at as a student, and then you just forget them all and you don't use them in life. And now I get to look at them again. And now if more than ever, I understand the importance of mathematics in the physical universe and actually beyond, to be honest. But that's a topic for another video. And geography, understanding about ecosystems and balance and synchronicity and all of these sorts of natural concepts which the Western world, or the urbanized world, let's just say, is becoming more and more disconnected from. So I'm actually, in a way, being reconnected by not just being in this environment here, which is much more, how would I say, natural and organic. And I'm also doing the same now by restudying my geography. So that's it's almost like by design. Okay, so there's the first topic. Now the next topic is about my apartment. So I'd been living in a hotel for the first month basically, and I was starting to get a little bit nervous in that last week. I couldn't seem to find anything sort of half decent, at least in terms of what I was willing to pay and so forth, because I'm not looking for anything flash, but just a good, nice, solid place without all the frills. And I've been lucky enough to find that. So on the very last day, and then the next day would be departure from checkout of the hotel, I just randomly fired off a message. I've dealt with 2 real estates already, and they hadn't been, what I was looking for. At least they hadn't delivered at that point. But I just thought I'll send off a message to my local contact, let's just say Kelly, who does YouTube videos with Autumn in Asia. And definitely check out his videos, because I did for sure when I was in Finland and looking at coming to Cambodia. His videos came up and were the most genuine that I could find. So I got to meet him here, and so I became a contact for the morning GT club, which is another topic I'll talk about at the end of this video. But I just fired off a message to him to ask, would you happen to know of anyone who's renting a room or anything going? And he said, well, funny you should say that. There's a studio apartment that's just free, just upstairs from me in our apartment complex. So long story short, that's where I am now. So it all worked out, and at a great price. And what's even crazier is that it ended up being just like a 5-minute walk to my new job through the local markets, which is just amazing. So location, with a lot of magic sprinkled in to make this happen. So now I have my apartment, and what I really like about the area, just briefly, is that it's very Khmer. There's not that many, let's say, tourists in this area. There are expats who I've seen sparingly driving past on a motorbike or on a back street even, so they're probably living there somewhere, but not really like lots and lots. And so I really get the feeling like this is a local community, almost like a village, I guess you would call it, in a way, with the markets being central to that. And now that I've been, for a little over a week, or on a week actually today, going down there and having a meal, or going down to buy a few things for the apartment, like a hot water kettle and a can opener, just basic stuff like that. You start to see the same people, and they start to see you, and now it's like waving and smiling and saying hello and how are you today and so forth. And they know that even though it's been a short time, you don't look like a tourist, you don't behave like a tourist, and you're interacting with the locals at a much deeper level already after just 1 week of living in this neighbourhood. And I'm really, really looking forward to getting to know the community and the people, and of course at the school as well, because the school is in the same area. And to just get to be known by the wider community as, not just that dude who lives over there and does his thing, but actually a guy who changed his life, who left Finland on his way back to Australia. If I ever get there, we'll see. Certainly for a visit anyway. And who came here to learn and to evolve and to be as much a part of the community as possible. And I hope they appreciate that, because I already certainly do. So, that's another example of win-win, where it's just like the Western thinking of me getting something is away from someone else, that if my bank balance gets enriched, it's at the expense of someone else in some way, if there's only a finite amount of funds available. But here I get the feeling that it's like what you're not sharing is money, what you're sharing is service and respect and love and caring and compassion and understanding, all of those core things, and there is no limit to that. And in fact, it's like a positive feedback loop. The more you provide and offer those things, you'll get even more than that back, which will then make you want to give even more. And that's the kind of positive feedback we need. That's going to connect with what I'm going to talk a little bit later. But just that idea of providing service and care without thought for oneself so much, doing it benevolently and out of kindness, and just because it's the right thing to do. And then you understand that there is no finite reserve of that. That is what the base layer of the universe is made up of. Consciousness and love, basically. Or love and consciousness, or you can't separate them. Consciousness and love, one and the same thing. And because by nature it's infinite, therefore we have infinite reserves. And the trick is for us to tap into them and then to spill that over to others, so that we can fill their cups as well as our own. So, there you go. First two topics covered: my new teaching job and my new apartment, both of which manifested in amazing ways and ended up being in exactly the same neighbourhood, which is where I'll now be spending, I would imagine, the next at least year of my life. And we'll see beyond that. But that's where it's going to start. So I've still got till the end of December, end of the year, to organise other things and so forth. But January is when life will get busy, but in the best possible way. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. And one of the cool things that I can do is that once I have my then work permit and business visa and all of that sorted out from January going forward, it also means that I'll have no shackles on being able to offer my other services, which will be both in sports and general coaching. And by sports I mean training in a gym, running, because I'm a running coach amongst other things and so forth and whatnot. I won't get into it too greatly, but long story short, that's what my profession is in health and science and fitness, to a pretty high level, national level and international level, actually, to be honest. So I can help people a lot of stuff to do with their physical fitness and well-being and so forth, but also, which is my main area of interest, is actually working in more in a sort of counselling, coaching kind of way. Although I make a distinction between counselling and coaching, where counselling is more of a therapy, telling someone what to do because you're the expert, while coaching is much more about asking very smart, stupid questions that get people to really think about what it is that they have and don't have, what it is that they want, what it is that they need, and where do they want to go and why. Those questions, but ultimately it aims at the client themselves making the decisions and accepting the responsibility for the change that they want in their lives. Because otherwise it's, always going to have someone else to blame. If a counsellor, an expert, consultant tells you what to do and you do it, if it works out, it was expected. And when it doesn't, you blame them because they were the expert, but that's just giving away your power and your free will to be controlled by someone else. Your decisions are made for you. And how many of people live that kind of a life where to secure your paycheck, you literally follow the directives of others, no matter how stupid they may be. And I will no longer do that. And yes, I'm in a teaching job, but for me that is an exceptional thing because it involves education. And education in the greatest sense is not about learning facts and figures and being able to pass exams. It's about understanding, critical analysis, and ultimately evolution. That's what true education is, and that's why I'll always continue to be involved in that profession in one way or the other, whether that's through a teaching role for a school, for example, through private education, vocational education, which is what I did in Finland, training personal trainers, actually. And that was for a lot of people who are looking to change their profession from what they were. And our students included doctors, dentists, pharmacists, bartenders, baristas, garbage men, new immigrants. Disillusioned master's degree holders who are looking for something more or other avenues for which to express their values in life. And ultimately, at its core, personal training or any kind of coaching or whatever guidance is given, could even be, teaching music. It doesn't have to be in fitness, it could be anything. But instruction, mentoring, guidance, teaching, instruction, support, help, caring. That's what these people were doing the courses for. And that's why I really enjoyed doing them. So now I get to help again with some students, all the way from young to old, but I'll probably be working with the older high school students, 8 years, I think it's years 8, 9 and 11. But we're all in the same school area, so it's going to be, once again, some beautiful chaos, I think, there. And so, wow, it's a lot already, those first two topics, after just being here for about 5 weeks. But I'll leave those there, and I'll get on with the third topic. Okay, so the third and final topic is the three main things that I'm grateful for that Cambodia has offered me so far. And first thing I would say is that I'm really starting to very rapidly increase my understanding of the importance of what one actually needs over what you actually desire. I'm going to go into this topic more in some future video because I'm just not able to put down in a brief form everything that I feel about this. But let me just say that I have seen wealth here, of course, but I have also seen the absolute poverty. And I'll leave it at that for now. And yet, in those that I objectively see as having little material possessions, and yet they are able to smile and be respectful and kind. And that just blows my mind. So, what is it that we actually need? And what is it that we actually want? And when I compare the people here, like let's say a young kid with nothing, to the school kids that I was dealing with every day in Finland, in everyday school life, who have everything materially. But what I notice is that the children here smile more. So that's the other reason that I'm here, is that to discover that. I've mentioned that in my previous video, but that is to discover that, to open my heart, and Cambodia is giving me that opportunity. And interestingly enough, this is literally the first time in my life, or maybe second, but a handful tops, where what I've actually desired is at the same time what I need. And by that I mean I need to open myself, to be more connected to people, the community, to nature, to creation, we'll call it that which we experience, and understanding what in that is necessary and what in that is just side quest desires for purely entertainment's sake, but we should never detract from the core purpose, which I have come to understand as being the realization of what we actually are. So I'll leave that at that. That's a topic for another video or 5 at some point in the future. Now, the second thing, let's go a little bit more lighthearted. The second thing that I've really, been grateful for here in Cambodia are the $2 spicy chicken fried rices I have for breakfast at my local place here. Absolutely amazing, and plus I get the homemade spice to chuck on top of that. That is got to be my favorite dish right now. And whether it's at that time or at some other times, like during GT club meetings, are the Dai Bai Dongs. That sounds, you heard that right, Dai Bai Dongs, okay? But no one's getting deleted. What they basically are is like if I can describe it correctly, is a green-coloured tea with sweet milk with ice. So something like that. And the beauty of that, it leaves a green tongue, hence that's the name of the GT Club. And that's the third thing that I'm most grateful for, and I'll share with you that shortly. But just to finish off with the food, okay, $2 spicy chicken, but absolutely all of the Khmer food is just off the charts good. I mean, I don't eat beef and pork and red meat, but I do eat chicken and fish, so there's plenty for me to eat, and I love the spicy food, I mean, to the nth degree. And I've found some good challenges, but I've still yet to find the spice or the whatever that's going to blow my head off, but I'm still looking. I asked for the spice as possible, but I'm still alive, so I haven't found it yet. Yeah. But yeah, and the cost of the food. And the one thing I want to say about this, the irony, and maybe I'll bring this up also in another video, the differences between the East and the West, but in the West, you're paying more for healthy food and you get the cheapest shit, processed shit for cheap. So you know where that's going to end up when people have different finances, who's going to eat healthy and who's going to eat crap and get unhealthy and then have more medical and etc. Here it's the flip side. The good food is the cheap food: rice, vegetables, fruit, fresh meat, cooked on the spot, prepared literally minutes ago, not processed, packaged in plastic, found at the shelf of a 7-Eleven or, I mean, and also the expense of it. I mean, I was in a shop, it blew my mind, where a packet of cereal, cornflakes, actually, I think it was, the original cornflakes, was going for like $8 or $9, which even in Finland would be like €3 or something like that, and probably even less in the US. So the crazy thing here is you're paying more for the stuff that's imported, makes sense, but you're paying more for the stuff that you were used to, and which you should actually leave behind, and you pay less for all the good stuff, which the locals eat. And the locals need to stay healthy because they don't have medical insurance. They have to look after their family, so it's in their interest to stay healthy and active. So no one even needs a personal training program, actually, to be honest. Eat well, move, and be happy, and the rest will take care of itself. It's a pretty simple thing, you know. But anyway, so the Dai Bai Dongs, to finish, was the green milk iced tea, sweet one. Now, where did I have my first Dai Bai Dong? It was when I met Kelly for the second time. I'd met him, he's a YouTuber, Autumn in Asia, as I mentioned, and met him at another YouTuber's birthday party, or a couple who does YouTube videos, For Real, Claire and Jeremy, whose videos I also followed in Finland to get ideas on the cost of living and to get some idea of what it's like there. And they actually happen to be from Australia also, where I'm from Queensland, Brisbane, for example, where I grew up. But anyway, another story. So that's how I met Kelly, and then he invited me along for a morning coffee at the River Cafe, if I remember correctly, where we meet up on Tuesday mornings, and the group has been steadily increasing. I'm getting to meet friends of Kelly who've been living here longer, and then we're also getting new additions coming in, particularly from the United States, that have been the last few. And so we're sort of gradually building this morning gentlemen's, at least so far, get-together club. Some have green teas, some have espressos like Alessio. So there's Kelly and there's Alessio, and there's Warren and Scotty and Mike, and we were joined by Reggie for the first time also, which was fantastic to meet him for the first time, and hopefully he can come more as well. But I am grateful for this group of gentlemen, just getting to know them one after the other and talk about their lives and how they ended up in Cambodia and what they've learned and what they've experienced, and all of the help and suggestions and support. And I would literally call it, it's a growing brotherhood, and that's super, super important. To have that support network, it just makes life that much easier. And that, once again, proves that you can go on your own, and that will be the lone wolf experience, and I think everyone should do that. I've done that for 7 years now. But there's much more than that. And I think that's the independent phase, which again in classic education, children's development as well. You start from being 100% dependent on your mother and your parents together, and eventually you break out and you're in a hurry to become independent. That's the goal. I want to be independent. I don't need you guys. I can do what I want. Classic teenager stuff, right? But that's a part of the process. And when you live long enough as an independent adult, and the same comforts, the same status symbols, the same rinse and repeat crap that means nothing ultimately, when you get sick of that, that's when you begin to seek. And that's when you see that the goal is actually interdependence, meaning helping others, serving others as they serve you. For those who are biblical, do unto others as you would wish done unto you, or words to that effect. It's karma. You do good, you get good back. It's not that complicated. So that's the third thing that I'm grateful for, is this fantastic group of gentlemen, and the GT club name comes from the green tongues that are left after having the Dai Bai dog. So, once again, big shout out to Kelly, Autumn in Asia, Alessio, Warren, Scotty, Mike, and Reggie, and to all future GT Club guys, members. It's been a privilege to know you so far, and I look forward to many wonderful, interesting conversations going forward. Thank you, gentlemen. Oh, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed those 3 latest topics of mine, and going forward, just going to have more of the same. Well, same but different. That was cheesy. Anyway, yeah, so I'm just going to be focusing on videos that report my experiences and what I learn and so forth as I get to become more of a member of the local community here around where my new apartment is. And yeah, we'll see what that brings. But I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy with everything that's happened now in the past 6 weeks. It's just such a short space of time, and just everything seems to be working out pretty well. Like, got the job, got the apartment, got a good bunch of guys that I can catch up with and shoot the shit with, so to speak, and just support each other, which is amazing. And yeah. But personally, the only thing I really have now, actually something on my shopping list, which is to get a bicycle. I've got my touring bike, Matilda II, still in Finland, but she won't be coming here for a while. So for the time being, I want to get myself a local basic Khmer bike. I don't need anything flash. It's just something that'll get me around so I can start to expand my spheres of exploration to more sort of country areas and so forth. Maybe visit some villages and some other temples and so forth. I've still yet to visit Angkor Wat, and it probably will be a long time before I get there, partly for the reasons I've already explained in my previous videos, but there you go. But there's no hurry. I've got plenty of time, and I've got a lot of patience, and that's one thing this place is already teaching me, is to just take things in your stride, live and let live, and just play your part. So I think I'll finish off with just a principle that I live by, which I will share with you, which is just remember that it's nice to be nice, and all you got to do each day is do your best not to be an asshole, and start giving a shit about others and not just yourself, and everything's going to work out fine. So there you go. All right, thanks again for watching my latest video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Enjoy the rooftop view.